All right, there is still a major race to decide in Pennsylvania, and it may be a while before we know for sure who PA sent to the U.S. Senate. Dennis Owens joins us with the latest on this really close race. Dennis.
Really close is right, James. Here are the up-to-the-minute numbers. It's about 30,000 votes. Dave McCormick, about 30,000 votes more than Bob Casey. 90%, 98%, I should say, of the vote is in. If the result is within 0.5%, it would trigger an automatic recount. Right now, it's 0.4, so we're within that threshold right now. There are outstanding ballots in Cambria County and provisional ballots and overseas military ballots. The Casey team is conceding nothing. It released a statement this morning that said, in part, with tens of thousands more votes to be counted, we are committed to ensuring every Pennsylvanian's vote is heard and confident that at the end of that process, Senator Casey will be reelected. Now, Team McCormick seems to be getting a little antsy for its part. On Twitter, a spokeswoman said, no, these provisional ballots will not be the deciding factor. There are 45,000 plus ballots in ruby red Cambria County that still need to be counted. Not sure whether they're thinking that Casey should concede. That's not going to happen. And again, a triggered recount is possible, which could push this entire process a couple of weeks. A recount must be completed by November 26th. So I can tell you by Thanksgiving we will have an answer. Governor Shapiro today once again urged patience as all votes are fairly and accurately counted. James, patience is something Dave McCormick is familiar with, and he is familiar with. This is deja vu all over again for him. You remember 2 years ago in a primary election with Mehmet Oz, millions of ballots cast. He lost by 900 votes. But as we talk to you today, he's got a lead by almost 30,000. Still lots of ballots to be counted.
And so that's what I was going to get to next here. You have this 2% precincts that are still coming in, mail-in ballots, some
overseas military, provisional ballots.
And then this Cambria County. Do we know if there are any other ballots from other counties, or is it just this Cambria County
Mostly
thing?
that.
Okay.
I'm not completely positive. I know I'd heard some things going on in New York, but I think they're mostly in. It's Cambria County is the biggest chunk. And as the McCormick people are saying, well, that's a ruby red county. So that should be good news in their view for McCormick. Casey's saying, nope, we got to count them all. And when we count them all, they say Casey's going to win.
And you were saying this is very familiar territory for McCormick. Unfamiliar territory for Bob Casey, who's been in office for a very long time.
That's right. He had 10 years in statewide office before his 18 in the U.S. Senate, so 28 years, nearly 30. He has never lost a statewide general election, and this is the toughest fight that he has ever been in. And, of course, a red wave basically hit the country. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Democrats in the wrong place at the wrong time for this election.
And as you said, too, the country was watching this race. Also important to point out, Republicans have already taken the Senate.
So we thought, the balance of power could be in the Republicans are going to control the Senate. At this point, it's just a matter of how big is their margin going to be. And they, of course, want to have as big a margin as possible to give them some wiggle room as far as governing is concerned.
Absolutely. All right. Dennis, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, James.
Appreciate it.